And Gabe has had a lot of success playing this through the store championship season. I know we haven't been able to broadcast all of those, but Gabe has been consistently making top fours at, I don't want to say all, but if not all, most of the store championships with this exact deck. So Gabe knows what he's doing with this for sure. And Luke, clearly with this Whizzard deck, is playing something that has made a big impact in the global meta. So I think we've got two quality decks that are going to be playing against each other. What'll be interesting is Whizzard's ability isn't really going to come into play here. Gabe has literally, as I'm looking at the list, 0 cards other than he does play a couple copies of Sansan and Jackson that this is going to be relevant against.
Right.
So not quite as impactful as it would have been playing against his own NEH deck that we just watched. But, still, Whizzard gets to play the red cards. He gets to play the Anarch, good stuff.
He's got 6 Ice Destruction operations to go along with 3 Parasites. So he's going to be doing a lot of work attacking whatever Gabe puts out there.
Yeah, and Gabe is going to have some protection, but the problem, I think David is going to be key in this matchup because it's really going to hurt against Wraparound, Archangel, and potentially Gutenberg.
Yeah.
And I think he's really going to have all the answers against Sync's Ice, and having Parasite against Data Raven can potentially be huge.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be a very interesting matchup. A lot of what it comes down to at times is, can Gabe get an early Astro score? And if so, it just puts it's going to put Luke on the back foot because you're going to be playing with negative agenda points most of the time at some point when you play against the Sync deck. News Team is just such a powerful card.
Right.
And I'm looking at the deck, and if I'm seeing this right, I see 2 News Teams in Gabe's deck. That seems like heresy.
I don't know.
To me, I think News Team may very well be the best card other than the Kitty agenda, Quantum Predictive Model in that deck.
3 Data Ravens seems a lot.
Because I play 3 Data Raven, 3 Gutenberg in my version.
Really? Okay. Well, he's playing 3 too, and still 2 News Teams.
But yeah, cutting News Team is interesting. I'll have to ask Gabe about that if we get an interview after
3
this.
Cyberdex Virus Suites.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so he really doesn't like Clot, and I
No,
guess
he does
that was
not.
the decision he made.
The man built a fast advance deck, and fast advance he shall. All right, so that's key. Getting the wild side first turn is big.
Very, very good for Luke to see that as early as this.
What this also does, though, is it can create a scoring window for Gabe.
Looking at Luke's board in hand, you'd think we're playing noise.
Seriously,
2
right?
2 Data Suckers and a medium in hand.
Now we see a subliminal messaging, not one we see often, but I know Gabe likes this because the Sync deck is kind of, even though it's a fast advance deck, it tends to take its time knowing that giving the runner negative agenda points, you often have a lot more time. Okay, so scores out 15 minutes, just gets on the board.
His time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Definitely an interesting one. So Luke installs the Data Sucker and is running the hand.
Gabe, as he commented, just happy not to have to reach for his deck. Oh, you lose a kitty. That's demoralizing.
Yeah.
That kitty belongs in your storage area, not the runners.
Yeah. Sansa.
Yep, Whizzard credit's going to do work here.
Yeah, that's right. Whizzard forgot how that ID works.
All right, let's see what we got. Well, we are getting all the agendas early.
Yeah, I was going to say it seemed like he was a little flooded. There's a wraparound, though, which is going to be really good for him.
All right. So we're iced up on our centrals. At this point, we've got Data Sucker with a couple of counters, and, we get all the Parasites in hand.
Yeah.
Luckily, Wraparound is going to provide him at least some protection.
Yeah.
There is one Corroder in the list, so, Parasite might be relevant against it, but he's got to find it first. But Whizzard, I mean, he's got a decent setup at this point. Wild Side, I think, is one of the most important cards in that deck.
Yeah,
so we're definitely in a good situation.
And he's forced a Jackson pop this early as well. So doing the right things at this point.
And he's got
There's
the Faust, which is big.
Not going to do a whole lot running at HQ, but...
And this is what I like so much about this Whizzard deck, the fact that Medium's such a strong card, and then with Faust, David, and Parasite, just being able to camp remotes and say, okay, if you rush anything out, I'm coming after you. If not, I'll just continue to draw cards and I'll destroy all your ice on R&D and just medium you to death.
Right.
Pretty effective.
And Gabe finding some money here with the sure gamble. He's got Psychic Graphics in hand, so he's ready. He's ready for the tags. I believe in the 6-point deal. It could happen.
I've both had it happen to me and made it happen, so I am a believer.
Luke, not, apart from the Faust, not really drawing the cards he needs right now.
All right, so the tag ice is coming out.
Yep.
Love Gutenberg here. With Wildside on the board, I think Luke clearly can't afford to just leave tags. He's got to deal with this somehow.
Yeah.
All right. Forgot his data sucker, I think. There we go.
And with only 3 clicks, having to deal with that tag is really important.
Yeah.
So I don't know that we're going to see too much R&D running right now from him. I think that's the decision he's having to make right now.
Yeah, it needs the reminder, as most do, of sync makes it that much more expensive to clear tagged. And against a resource-heavy Anarch deck, I think that ability is going to be very relevant in this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pitch is a medium, okay. I mean, he's clearly
I think
got
he has another medium in hand, actually.
Okay.
That might be why. So not getting the cards he needs right now. Gabe, on the other hand, sitting there with a nice free sweep.
And it's so tempting. This is what I love about Gutenberg. It's so tempting to just get, just drop medium and say, oh, all it does is tag me.
Yeah.
Just go. He is playing 3 cyber decks, so I think Gabe is well teched against that happening and knows that's the biggest risk in this type of deck.
And it's always crummy when you make the huge, like, 7-card medium dig.
Yeah.
Don't see any agendas and then hit a cyber deck. You're like, well, I guess I lose now.
That is a card. All right, so Gabe's stabilized at this point. I think the biggest thing is finding a biotic and getting that first Astro scored is key.
Yeah.
All right, so just tracking their clicks.
Yep. So running through the wraparound with the David. Access.
Fast track.
Fast track. That's a card. That is a card here.
We have had some commentary on it. I can't deny this.
Yep. I vaguely recall.
We've got Jackson drawing him into a special offer.
Nice. More money.
See where he puts that. And
Data
Raven, one of the key cards in this deck. You've got to have it. The problem, obviously, we've got Data Sucker with quite a few counters. Yeah, I like that on R&D. This Whizzard deck beats you off R&D, not on HQ, so I think that's where he needs the protection. All right.
Wildside gets him a spooned, which
isn't
going to do him a lot of work this game.
Because, yeah, Gabe has one of Archangel in the deck, and that's it in terms of code gates.
No,
or does he have pop-up? I don't think he plays pop-up.
No, I was going to say toll booth.
Yeah, no toll booth in this deck.
Yeah, I guess that's not really the MO. That is correct. Your Ghost Runner credits, you have to pay for a toll booth. Some rules questions from the next table. So Gabe didn't want to put Data Raven down
all
as
the special
last.
offers. That's one I haven't really seen in Sync a lot, so that's an interesting include.
So he's just going to spread them out. Oh, no, he put down the Data Raven.
As an avid Spark player, I certainly approve of the special offers.
Yeah,
I just can't say I've seen it in this quantity. I've seen it in NEH a lot. I've seen it in Spark a lot, but interesting include. And here is the Nightmare R&D server.
All of the tags.
Now, did Luke keep a Parasite in hand? I think he has one, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. I think that's right.
All right, because I think that is going to be the #1 Parasite target in this game, is trying to get Data Ravens off the board.
Yeah, and Deja Vu? Nope, no deja vu, just a levy.
Really? No deja vu? Okay, that's interesting.
So definitely going to be pretty high value, those parasites.
Very interesting. Okay, so 2 same old thing, or 1 same old thing, sorry.
Yeah. That seems risky to me.
All right, so looking for that pancake. Looking for the pancake lady, and he has been denied.
He's hungry. Whizzard is hungry.
Triggering the special offer. All right, deciding whether he wants to Faust through that or not. Sees Sansan. Yeah, I've got to imagine he's going after that. I do like the way Gabe's playing this, of just forcing him to check and waste his time, especially when you're losing clicks actively with wild side. It's kind of that much more damaging.
It makes sense. Although I think Gabe would also like to be trying to score out here at some point.
Yeah, he just really needs that biotic. I mean, he's got the psychographics that's been in hand for a while. That is a great late game way to close out, but it's going to take a while before the runner gets so hopeless that they start just letting the tag stick.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, did we catch and see whether or not he had that parasite?
I can't quite see, but I think he does still have one.
Because with Data Sucker out there, as big as it is, that's a big deal.
So he's got the
There's
biotic.
The biotic, yeah.
I don't know that he has the Astro to score, but you know, another thing that I'm looking at the board thinking about. I do feel like there's value at some point in clearing out the Data Sucker tokens potentially.
Right.
Having seen a parasite in the trash, all right, so he baits out the news team, so here come the negative agenda points, which is also why you run 3 of this card, because you just put it down and you give negative agenda points. It just does everything you want to do. All right, so sees the psychographics, knows about that now.
Yep.
Good information, if nothing else.
Draws another subliminal. So 2 subliminals, that's interesting.
Yeah, I don't see that card that much, especially in those quantities. I usually see it as a one-of, if ever.
Now, Wraparound's actually going to be really good here, because we just saw Luke drop the other David in the bin.
Oh, wow.
And he just spent the last David token on the Wraparound and HQ.
So he's corroder or bust at this point.
Yeah, so honestly, Gabe could drop Wraparound Beal if he doesn't think Luke has it.
So he's got, I think we're looking at the list, he's got a couple of clone ships that he could potentially draw into. We don't see any of those in hand.
So the question is just, will Gabe take the risk? I don't think he will.
And that's the problem, is he's on such low money at this point, too, that it's almost, okay, you get a clone ship, you can't even afford to pay for the David or to get anything trashed at this point.
Yeah, I really would have liked Gabe to install in advance there. If he scores a GFI here, that's really strong for him.
Yeah, so I see the parasite in hand, got Levy in medium. I think at this point, Gabe just wants to seal off. I really do. I think those Data Sucker tokens are very valuable at this point, because it represents a dead Data Raven. And he doesn't want to waste his Jacksons getting back Data Ravens. Yeah, I'd almost be content to. I say that, I mean, I know he's probably, if he's seen this deck before, he knows there's cutlery in there, so he could just as easily break with a forked.
Right.
But even still, you have to take the tag to be able to go through it. So to me, I mean, there's value of not just letting something die to parasite.
Yeah, you'd much rather hit the Gutenberg and trash that with the forked.
So Gabe, I think, trying to weigh his options. Still hasn't seen the Astro.
Yeah, but the longer he waits to go for it, the more Wizard's going to sort of catch back up into this game.
Yeah, I mean, this is very much a long game deck, or one that can, or that only gets better the longer it's played on Whizzard. Okay. Has he decided to go tag me at this point? I'm curious. Yep, and this is exactly where I'm going. This is kind of what I expected.
mean with Fox? Not right. Oh, you're killing me.
All right, so kills the data raven. They're just trying to figure out what's happening.
So I've got 2 tags. 2 tags? Yeah, so from the data raven.
All right, they're trying to work out the tag situation. So I think he's going through, taking the data raven one, taking one from Gutenberg. And he's got a, now what he hasn't seen, he doesn't know Gabe's deck list that he has 3 Cyberdex virus suites. I mean, I wouldn't even expect that many, to be perfectly honest. So I'm very curious whether he gets paid off with this medium or whether he just ends up getting kind of frustrated and seeing a bunch of them in the bin and shuffle back
now
with Jackson.
If he's going to play Tag Me, Gabe actually is really okay with that. He has a psychographics,
yeah, he gets psychographics Beal. And that I've seen Gabe win off of a psychographics and more times than I can count with this deck,
and
with
this
this exact play pattern.
I think you can assume that Luke has decided you don't have it in hand.
Yeah,
which means
I think that's fair.
I think you just sit on it.
So he's got 2. So he's got a fast track for an Astro and then psychographics out in the Astro because he's got 2 tags. And a lot of people forget about that. They think that Beal is the only threatening card, but
and I'm making a case for the viewers here. Wouldn't you just hold it and try and score the 6-point Beal?
Yeah. So yeah, Biotic. He's going to play the Biotic he's been holding on to for a while. Install Astro and then psychographics out to put 2 counters on it. Very nice play. So yeah, now we've got that Astro threat. So you've got 3 points to -1. This is the sync match.
To 0. He had already scored the QPM.
Oh yeah, he got the kitty agenda. Never mind. I see. I always assume that ends up in the corp score area. So I rarely. I'm always shocked to see it actually being scored.
Well, now he's running Tag Me, so we might have one end up in there.
Yeah, and this is where the 3 Cyberdex is potentially going to be big.
Oh,
Beal. Gets the Beal.
Jackson.
Trash with.
Although that's expensive.
Now does Gabe
now he's
play?
on just 3 credits, right? Yeah. See, now the Sand stays.
Yep. Here it is. All right, so he's committed. All right, so now Gabe's got to figure out. So he has all the tags at this point.
Yeah.
Needs a Beal.
So see, what if he had kept the Psycho?
Okay,
That's all
so
I'm saying.
At this point, I think you've got to be. You've really got to be mindful of your Jackson use.
Yeah.
Does he have another one in hand? Yeah, he has Psycho Beal in hand.
Both in hand. Wow.
And Astro counter, so even if it's an odd number.
Wow. How many tags does he have?
Welcome to the Sync Live the Dream moment. We're trying to do some complicated math, but I think he has it. Yeah, with the Astro counter. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, wow, he did it.
The Psycho Beal, or as I call it, having played Street Fighter 2 for a long time, the Psycho Crusher.
That's
where you just
great.
go from 0 to hero and you get it done.
Wow, so that's a split. That is a split.
Yeah, I think they're just going through to make sure that the math's right. But if by my count, if I read it correctly, I think that's right. I think he needs
2 psychographics.
Because he needs a 4-point BL, so he needs 7. So yeah, I think that's right.
2 psychographics makes sense. Had them both in hand. That's nuts. 3 CVS.
GG guys, they're very cool. This is what I love about this sync deck. That was a fun match to watch.
I really like that.
Again, this came down to what it usually comes down to with this deck, which is when does the runner decide to go tag me? When do they get frustrated and just say, you know what, it looks wide open. I've got that medium. When am I going to go? And I don't blame Luke for assuming, hey, I've just seen a psychographics.
Right.
What's the chance he's got the other one? What's the chance he's got another deal?
I didn't think he had it, right?
Right.
So
we didn't see it.
That's
crazy.
No,
I think that was an awesome match.